house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother Canada updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Michelle Campbell, and she wants to know, which house guest do I want to return to the game? I would agree with you, Michelle. Definitely not Greg or Greg. I would say Neha, probably. I think she's gonna freak people out the most, which is definitely what I want to see. I would say Cindy because she's really feisty, but I feel like Cindy would try to work with like Jordan and them, and I want to see someone who's gonna like take those guys on, and I think Neha is probably the best bet. So I hope that happens. Okay, so I got a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. The feeds were off forever yesterday for the power veto ceremony, like 4 hours. We found out that Canada voted for the double veto, and Bruno chose not to use it, which means that Bobby and Sarah are still on the block. And I want to know from you guys, do you think that Bruno should have used it? He could have made a huge power play this week, pulled both of them off the block, put up like Zach and Jordan, something like that, take out one of those guys. It would have been a huge power shift. It would have been a big deal. So let me know in the comments if you guys think that Bruno made a mistake. Sarah and Jordan were talking in the backyard yesterday. Sarah brings up more concerns about the couples in the house. A lot of people are like, blah, 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 couples alliance all over the house. She's like, it's kind of a big deal. We need to like nip this in the bud possibly. We need to definitely keep an eye on it and stick together. And then she brings up how Brittany needs more cherishing from Zach. She's used to being the center of attention, she is a model, and she's not getting that treatment in this house, and it's making her a little pissy. And she also is kind of drifting away from the alliance, so Jordan's like, yeah, I'll tell Zach about that, okay. So then, Jordan tells Sarah some of the potential plans for next week, and Sarah's like, okay, so if Zach wins HOH, who are the pawns gonna be? I know that he's targeting Bobby as the backdoor, but who are the pawns gonna be? So Jordan's like, well, I think you would probably be one of the pawns. Guess what? That's not helping the situation. Sarah was so angry. She was like, no, I will not let that happen. No. So later on, Jordan was talking to Brittany and Sarah, and Jordan was like, okay, here's how it's gonna work. Bobby's next, then Bruno, then Willow, and then we'll worry about the couples. That is not what those girls wanted to hear. That was bad. So Bobby and Ashley were chatting in the bathroom. Bobby is like really not good at game talk. So he was like, hey Ashley, how come everyone in the house except for Kevin knows about the plan to backdoor Kevin next week? How did that spread around? He was like, I think it's Zach's fault. I think Zach's the one that's telling everyone. I feel like I can't trust him as much anymore. And Ashley's like, what? Oh, Zach is fine. He's totally with us. And do you guys notice she's like always fixing herself in the bathroom? I feel like every time I see a clip of her, she's in the bathroom getting ready, and she's like, oh, he's great. So she's like, no, Zach is with us. Chill out. He's not. So Sarah, Jordan, and Zach were talking in the storage room. Sarah brings up to Zach the whole thing with Brittany. She's like, you need to go and flirt with Brittany, reel her back in, and Zach's like, I will. So then Sarah was telling them about Godfrey's plans if he wins the HOH next week. And he's like, yeah, Godfrey told me that he would nominate Zach and Kevin because y'all have showmances and that's not cool. It's like a huge voting block and it's just not good for everyone else. So Zach is like taken aback. He's just like, what? He said that? People know about this? What? Really? Have some self-awareness, come on. So then Zach does as he's told. He goes and spends some one-on-one time with Brittany, tries to reel her back in, and Brittany's like, trying to talk about the game. She's like, well, after Bobby goes, I'm a lot more nervous about Willow than I am about Bruno. And then she's like, Willow, Ashley, and Pilar all freak me out because those girls don't commit to anything. They wait to be told what to do, and that makes her really uncomfortable and like, yeah, uncomfortable and shaky, and she can't deal. So Zach is like, well, at some point in the game, like, you or Sarah are gonna have to win HOH and put up Ashley, and then I'll vote her out. Yeah, okay, I'm so sure you're gonna vote her out. We'll see about that. So Bobby and Bruno have their own little game chat, and we find out that if somebody else was the veto holder and decided to use that double veto, Bruno would have nominated Kevin and Pilar. So those diaper babies would have been screwed. It would have been crazy. So then they were talking about potentially going after Zach next week, and Bobby sounds so freaking scared to go after Zach. He's like, oh, I don't know, it's gonna get a lot of blood on our hands. Ugh. Man the frig up. So Bobby suggests like going after some of Zach's allies to try and weaken him, and Bruno's just like, if we go after Zach's army, which is quite extensive now, it's gonna tip him off. He's gonna know that something's up, and he's gonna be able to strike first, so that's really dumb. And I have to agree, you gotta go for that. You gotta go for Zach, get him out. So Johnny, let's talk about Johnny. He spilled the beans last night. He was campaigning hardcore. He really will do like anything to stay in this house. So he was talking to Zach, and he totally sold out Sarah and Brittany. He was like, Zach, these girls are ready to flip. They don't want to work with the Hexagon, soon to be Pentagon anymore. They're going to try and work with Bruno and Bobby, and you need to keep an eye on that. So he brought up how Sarah was like working everything out with the gummy bears. He was telling Zach like, this person was this color gummy bear and this person was this color, to try and like show him like, yeah, this actually happened, this is real. I can't believe Johnny did that. I'm like super disappointed in him. But I'm wondering like, what's Zach gonna do with this info? Is he gonna take it seriously? What's the deal? So this morning, Jordan and Zach were chatting, and I guess Zach was like telling him about it, and Jordan was like, well, I feel like we can crush Sarah and Brittany in competitions, and they don't have the votes anyway. So he's like totally not worried about it, which is kind of foolish. But he's like, yeah, we just need to keep making Sarah and Brittany feel safe, make sure they feel secure, and they won't flip on us. So that aside, then Zach comes up with this ridiculous plan. He basically wants to pimp out Ashley. It's kind of sick listening to him talk this plan out. So he's like, yeah, I want to see Ashley get in that hot tub with Bobby and just like convince him to throw that HOH because he'll listen to anything she says. It's just like really gross and like uncomfortable, and like I don't like that. So I hope it doesn't work. So do you think Ashley would actually do that? It would be really messed up. You're saying yes. What do you guys think? So today was kind of a fun day because Big Brother gave the house guests the BBTV task. Hashtag BBTV. So from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. today, the house guests were responsible for providing programming for the live feed viewers. So they had choices for what kinds of shows they could do. So they ended up doing a talk show, a courtroom drama, a Big Brother Canada 2 rerun, so that's like acting out classic scenes from that season, psychic reading, and BB Search for Skills, which is like a talent search contest show thing. So to make things even more fun, Big Brother provided the house guests with some costumes and wigs from previous competitions and seasons. That is amazing. I would be drooling. So let's just talk about some of the programming. Needless to say, everyone was like so freaking excited for this, freaking out. I mean, why wouldn't they be? They have something to do for the day and it's fun. And who doesn't love improv? So the first show was Kevin's late night talk show, Late Night with Kev. So some of his guests, he had Willow dressed up as Justin Bieber. Let's just say she's no Kate McKinnon. Not even close. He had Godfrey on pretending to be this doctor, talking about how to take the best poop you can. Pilar was on, I guess as herself, talking about like being positive and stuff. Bobby was showing off his muscles and his newly waxed chest. I'm gonna admit, Bobby has a nice body, but he's, yeah. Let's see, Jordan did a segment about being a have-not. It was kind of like an adopt a have-not situation. Wasn't that funny? And then they also had 2 girls and 1 gay, which was quickly canceled, and I'm thinking it was some sort of copyright thing. Yeah. Johnny came back on the talk show and talked about his outfit and stuff, so he got another chance. But then it was time for the courtroom drama. Sarah was playing the judge, and they were having different people on trial. I think Godfrey was on trial for like napping too much and stuff like that. But the show got a little dirty at times, like some dirty jokes in there. It went on for a while, but it was canceled before it was supposed to end, so sorry, Sarah. But then things got really awesome because it was time for the Big Brother Canada 2 rerun, And guess who showed up? Freaking John Party showed up in the house in his baby costume from last season, which was like one of the best things ever. Everyone was freaking out. It's amazing. I don't want to rush this. I want to like give you guys the best information about this. So we're going to pick it up here tomorrow in detail, and it's going to be amazing, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So until then, much love.